you want to move? I'm sure you could move things around.
Diversity.
Exactly, yeah, just the whole spectrum.
I removed everything that you couldn't shoot on off the shelves, but yeah, that's a bit too high. I thought I probably won't get in shot.
That gold's terrifying.
I know. Do you know my office is through there, and actually where
Looking
I
at you.
sit, honestly, it completely freaks me out.
You don't want to work late, stewing alone in a darkened office with like the sound of tiny footsteps coming from next door.
Oh, it's so freaky. It really is.
Do you live in here or are you?
In an absolute nightmare. This morning was just it took me an hour and a half to get to
Really?
this
Oh
morning.
my
Yeah.
God. And then you had to send people to chase us around. Chase around first, didn't you?
No, it's nice living. I sort of live in the countryside, so
Oh, lovely.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Near Highgate. So it's
Yeah.
nice, but it's you never get yourself a second bedroom or
No.
a fire or a
No.
garden.
Yeah, that's why we left.
Things are approaching 40 where you kind of go, I should have a garden by now. I don't really know how this is working.
I live in London as well, and I just want to drive.
Really? Do you,
So you
how do
can
you get
park.
Well, because I'm based in Hammersmith. I live in Junction.
Oh, okay. But you basically out for the day.
Yeah.
For this, okay.
But yeah, I keep saying, my husband and I, when we move out, we want a driveway. So
One
we always have
day.
to come to park a car, you know, like round the corner.
Yeah.
on the street.
Oh, it's so
I'm not
exciting.
100% sure. I just know it's a limited edition that
Yeah.
they've got.
Yeah, that's the thing with limited editions, you can't keep around. So
No.
it's gonna be-
See what else I can make up for the day.
No, it's good.
But the maquettes are UK, aren't they?
Yes, the maquettes are UK only and the full size fit. So basically, it's only these products that are in the US. The rest of the other things that are on there. So there's also the Millennium Falcon and the yeah.
So how do these, presumably this isn't a life-size Millennium Falcon cockpit.
It is a cockpit the same size as we would have used on set. So it's-
Really?
yeah. So it's,
Is
yeah.
that gonna... Who's got the flipping heck? It's actually... That's mad.
Yeah.
So how many are there? 10 of them? Oh no, just base. And then I'm kind of like they've let me on kind of change some of those most of the time. I'm kind of edge through the day, which means I kind of check all of the story and make sure everything's okay before it gets over. You can't do it, so they finally let me have it. It's nice. It's really nice to get out. We used to do quite a bit of this kind of stuff for any job shifts and
Post-production.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, they're still
Yeah, I've just never been out here before. So
You never been to Plymouth?
No.
Oh, right.
But it's open stage, so it's under the back.
Yeah, it kind of grows every year, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. They've built loads of different studios now. Yeah, literally in the last, I don't know, 2 years, there's several more that have popped up.
Are you hitting anything behind, or are you kind of, can you keep going? Is it all kind of fields? In terms of expanding the site, is it?
Oh, they've done it over the road, have you not seen?
No.
Yeah, they've got they've got planning permission to go over the road, and it's huge.
Yeah.
It's like twice the size of this.
Really?
Yeah, the existing, yeah.
But this is under construction now, or it's all
It's still
finished?
under construction,
Okay.
yeah.
Make a big, I think, because everything here is so big, haven't seen.
Yeah, if you come when you go out the studios, if you look to the left across the road, you'll see it. Yeah, yeah, it's huge.
How did you get into it?
How did I get into it? I started in creatures. I started, making creatures.
Okay. completely right. I mean, you
Yeah.
can just tell something's very solid and visceral kind of on a set rather than
Yeah.
the computer. The one that the Peter Nyong'o was,
Yes.
remember,
Yeah.
was that a creature
Mass.
or was that a,
Yeah.
was that a creature or was that a,
That was what do we call it? Like motion capture. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she acted all of
Yeah.
the scenes,
Yeah.
but with the
Yeah.
what do you call the dots.
Yeah,
on
that's
the
right. Yeah.
face.
Yeah. That's the motion capture. Yeah.
Yeah.
she's so lovely. I interviewed her, I did her
Oh,
interview,
really?
she's such a nice woman. Just, lovely. But yeah, it's mad. As I did junket for it, I've never seen, because it was all European press as well, so all of Europe descended upon London, and it was, I don't know, it's just mad, like being told. Yeah. All that.
You said you wanted to prove the comic going in there. Yeah.
I know, right? Always there. so. Just getting a last shot of that.
Okay, cool, brilliant.
Can I handle something?
Yeah, do you know? I mean,
Okay,
yeah, whatever you want.
We're actually sort of ready when you are.
There we go.
Hello.
Why not? Why not? So I suppose if you could just for the camera just introduce yourself, full name and kind of job title. So.
I'm James Enright. I'm the director of Prop Shop and also the asset director for the Ultimate Studio Editions.
Okay, great. So could you give us a wee bit of background on Prop Shop and exactly what it is you do here?
Prop Shop traditionally we've spent 20 years in the Pinewood Studios, and we got a history of making props for many well-known movies, and we were lucky enough to be invited to make the props for Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
I mean, that's kind of the dream job, isn't it? Basically, if you're kind of in this business, I assume. What was your reaction when it was kind of handed to you?
Sheer joy, and then it was just it was just scary and terrifying at the same time. So because when you get that type of job, it comes with a big responsibility, because obviously of the legacy that we had to sort of uphold. So it took a time for us to research and be educated with the language and the of Star Wars. And in doing that, we implemented our pipeline, our technical pipeline, which we use a lot of digital modelling techniques and a lot of 3D printing techniques, which the outcome of that was that we were able to really be sensitive to the Star Wars legacy in a way that I think that we couldn't have done if we just relied on traditional techniques. Yes.
So how does, I mean, and this is a very broad one, but how does the kind of the collaboration work between obviously the director, in this case J.J. Abrams, and the store itself?
Yeah. Well, for instance, this is really JJ's creation, and he had an idea that he wanted to manufacture a tri-blade, as we call it, as we nicknamed it. But we would create this in a 3D as a 3D model and print various options for him, and we would take it to the set, and he would take a Sharpie and mark different changes or reference its size. And then we would go back, remodel it, reprint it, and that's really how our pipeline works. And we can then it's not only efficient from an everyday manufacturing point of view, but it also enables us to do extreme detail very quickly. I mean, we would produce these overnight for him to look at. Rather than somebody making it on the bench and each part and component where that might take a few weeks. So we could get to a design. We can resolve a design quicker using this technology. Yeah.
So do you basically go about 24 hours a day when this is happening? Does it ever stop?
No, quite frankly, no, it doesn't stop. No, it's always evolving. It's always techniques always evolving, and that's what I like about this job, is that there's never a dull moment. It's always moving forwards, and that's what's exciting about it. Yeah.
So to move on to obviously the sales in these.
Not the lightsaber. What should we be talking about? Okay, right, carry on.
Yeah. So to go on to obviously the construction of these, and was this an idea of the prop store, or was this from Disney, or was this from Fan Demand, or?
This was an idea that really from Lucasfilm and from those guys, and it was something that we got involved only if we could really uphold the quality and the authenticity of the items. We're prop makers ourselves, and we're first and foremost we care a lot about the craft. So we wanted to make sure that if we were going to do this, that we really get that element into these collectibles, and for us that's what's really important. And I'm really happy to say, I'm really proud of the fact that we've been able to do that. These are identical to the real thing, and I know that the prop master would have no problem in putting that on set tomorrow and using that as a real prop, because they've literally been made in the same way. Clearly there are some changes you have to make when you're making a consumer product, but because the requirements for an on-set piece is different to somebody having this in their home and it lasting for many years, where I'm not saying props don't do that, but I'm saying that there were rubber versions made of this, stunt ones, lightweight ones, and those things happen in the filmmaking process where we had to take what we call a hero item and break that hero item down into the recipe that would make a good consumer product. Yeah.
How did you decide what items would go up in terms of what you would construct? Because obviously you could, how long's a list? How long's a piece of string?
Well, to be honest, I rely on the experience of the Lucas team, Brian Merton and Anita Costello and Paul Southern, and they've been doing it for a very long time, and they know their fans, which are now our fans, but really it's them, and I trust them, and I let them guide what we manufacture, and we're very happy and very sort of pleased that they've chosen us to be able to do it. And for them, I mean, this is a Lucasfilm product. Ultimately, that's how we see it. And Prop Shop is really the vehicle that to get it to market.
Which one out of all of these? Obvious question, but which one's your favourite, or which one was the hardest to kind of put together?
They've all got a story. I mean, some are more complicated than others. I mean, this was obviously when you get asked to make a lightsaber, there's a few props in my career that you get given the chance to do, and you make them, and then it's an iconic thing to make, and this is one of those things. And to do something that's different, and to do something that such that's gone before, and as I say, it's a huge legacy and a huge responsibility to do that, then it's taken quite seriously. Such a fun thing to do, but it's taken quite seriously. So this was certainly one of the most challenging things to do, and I think we got it right, and it was it's really it had to be JJ's brief to us was that it sort of really has to feel incomplete, a bit like the character was our brief. So this is why you've got wiring on the outside, and it's sort of made up of, it's an amalgamation of different parts and components. That's how it feels. It's not high design or by any means, but and it feels like, I wanted it to feel like that it's been made up out of found parts. But ultimately, there's a lot of high engineering in this, and a lot of consideration on all these parts that's gone into it. And but there's also a simplicity and a sort of basic sort of design principle behind this as well. So very pleased with this one, and I think this is a great thing. But my other favourite is the Chewbacca bow, because I know that's never been made as a collectible before anyway, and it's very, very unique. And that's probably my favourite because of what it is and the character, and it's so famous as a weapon, and also as a prop, now collectible. So I hope the fans enjoy that.
Can you enjoy the film when it comes out, or do you just see how many hours of work have gone in? I just imagine you watch it and go, oh God, I was up till 5 a.m. doing it.
Fifth, sixth time round watching it, then I'm relaxed. I know what I know what we're looking at, and I know the little things that maybe for us that could have been maybe slightly different, or but we're always against time, we're always against budget and all that. So, but no, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, and it did all right for itself.
Did all right.
It's fine. It made a bit of money.
Yeah, made a few bucks.
I know we're kind of going everywhere, but this is the point where, in layman's terms, I ask you to kind of almost describe the process.
Right.
But I don't know how you do that kind of quickly or concisely. But
yeah, quickly and concisely without boring everybody as well. But I call it, there's a pipeline of events, and it starts from an idea, and that idea is concepted. Usually, just the traditional way. Nothing too clever. I mean, we're relying on highly talented concept artists. But once we've got the idea and the director and the HOD or whoever we're working for at that time, it could be the prop master, or it could be Creatures supervisor or something. But once we've got the concept, we then go into 3D modelling here, because I say the pipeline is a digital pipeline, and we embraced digital working methods. So we would go straight into modelling this in 3D in the different software packages, and we would then do renders of that, which are like lighting renders, real life renders, which would then that gives it a reality, but it's still at that stage it's still 2D. Once we've got that and we've got that approved, we then, like I say, turn to 3D printing. We 3D print prototypes, all different sizes, which we then have another discussion, and we then go back into that process and again until we're happy with the overall form, and then we start to apply paint finishes to that and start to look at those things and also how it feels, and also we start breaking down what it has to do, what its functions are. So for instance, when we made this as a stunt one, or one that lights up for instance, we have to make sure that all the electronics and all the necessaries inside. So in layman's terms, that's probably the process. It goes in different directions sometimes as well, but that's really the pipeline that I'm referring to, and that's the pipeline that we've applied to all these items that we've got. But also, I think that it's important to say that when you do make a prop like this, things happen to it on set. Things are painted, or just slight changes are made, and things, for instance, raised staff. That's dressed with leather and other materials. And what we do then to make sure that we're capturing that language and those markings, that we scan everything, we 3D scan everything. And Lucasfilm have set up a scanning studio next door to the stages, where literally every single prop and every single costume and creature is scanned. So we've got that information. And Prop Shop does that as another part of its job on these films. And therefore we capture a lot of the information we need to then reproduce. That's an essential part of what we do, and it's also an essential part for us to be able to make sure that we get this right and get the what we call the deco and the finish correct, and the marks. Because I know that fans like to stop movies and see if this little bit here is correct and that type of thing. So we're fastidious on that. We make sure that we get it absolutely right.
How much do you know about the extra stuff? I was just kind of having a list of the products that are going in Harrods, and I saw there's like a life-size Millennium Falcon cockpit.
Yeah.
Are you kind of? Can you talk about that? Because that's obviously we can't show it, but that's quite a biggie.
Yeah, it's a massive. Yeah, it's a biggie. It's the same as this, but it's meaning that how we produced it. The cockpit again is one of those things. It's one of those things that in my career that's one of those iconic numbers that's like, okay, this is a bit of a thing to build. We had no drawings when we got asked to replicate it or rebuild it for the film. So what we did, but luckily we had a guy called Mark Harris, an art director who I've known for many years, and I'm so pleased when he was on the film. And Mark actually worked with Harry Lang, who was the original art director on A New Hope and Empire, and so he knew certain things, and he was educated us, or me I should say, on what details went where and what sort of sizes they were, where they were from. On the back of the jump seats, for instance, there's a lid top of a biscuit, 70s retro biscuit lid that's stuck in the back of the chair. It's those things that Mark knew. Yeah. And we made sure that we actually got a biscuit lid, found it at a jumble sale, scanned it and put it into the back of the chair. So it's all those things that we make sure were there, and also the front seats, for instance, were like from a Porsche, old Porsche seats that we couldn't find, but we knew we found some reference, an old manual from a Porsche, and copied them that way. And then the rest of it, really, the interior and the parts on the walls were we freeze framed the movie, literally took them and got the modelers to model them, and then we mocked up a set and to get the size and made sure that we actually got the sizes correct and that type of thing. So the work in that was, because it's actually quite a simple thing. It's actually, when you look at it, it's actually it's a basic thing to construct, but it wasn't a basic thing to reproduce. It probably, it took a lot longer this time around, I imagine, than the first time, just because it had to be, we had to uphold the legacy and make it exact. So that was an interesting one. Yeah.
And is that being made available for purchase? The replica.
Yeah, we're making there's a limited edition. There's 10 in total. They are exactly the same as the one that's featured in the movie. Amazing. They're amazing things. If you're lucky enough to buy one, then we would obviously, we need to know where it's going to live, so we would visit the site, recce the site, and we would make sure that Prop Shop will take care of the build and the install and making sure that it's taken care of for many years. Yeah.
It's quite cool.
Yeah,
I
very
wouldn't
cool.
fit in my one bed flat, but you
No.
know, put it in the car park. Yeah, right. Final obvious one. I don't know how much you can say. Obviously, the new one's out. Are you involved in that, and how is that going?
I can't say anything about the new one.
You
My lips are
surprise me.
sealed.
Usually, you know, there's non-disclosure agreements. There's all that kind of stuff. But would you potentially do something like this for the next one? Should there be the demand?
Well, things carry through, but I mean, that's Star Wars. Things carry through, so yeah, it's these things. If they're popular and people like them, then we'll carry on doing them. I hope. Yeah.
Cool, great, brilliant. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So what we do is take the data from the laser scanner, and then we have to align that so we can, basically it's just like multiple point clouds, and we have to mesh these together, align them together, just then we can get our final mesh. And then what we do end up with is this. But you can get like an amazing amount of detail. Like every dent, every sort of like tiny scratch.
You get the dual shot.
And then we can also use the texture photography that they use. So let's bring that back up. Sorry, I think it's crashing
That's all right.
now. Always
It's always
the
well
way.
said. You're
Yeah.
doing too quickly, actually. It's giving me a chance to get the shots.
We'll get there. In the meantime, I can open up.
Actually, quite a big file.
Well, that's just trying to open images. That's not even. Yeah. I think because it is processing a lot on it as well. There's a lot of multitasking. I know. So many.
Yeah, no time. It's too on wheel big camera tripod.
I should move it up and go to a little one. So just one more time for us, if that's all right.
Yeah, from the first one, or
Yeah, on the, yeah. Okay.
All the inside details.
Do you think, really,
Find one that will do it now.
So if you could just introduce yourself to the camera and say what your role is.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Jet Cooper. I'm the digital art director here at Prop Shop. My role is to look after 3D in the digital department.
Okay, cool. If you could address, shall I get down at camera level?
Yeah.
Actually, what I'll do, I'll grab a chair.
chair.
So we're up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise you're right. That's going to be awkward.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So,
okay, I'll come down very slightly. There you go.
so yeah, if you just address that to me rather than the camera. that'd be
Okay,
great, yeah.
great, yep.
Cool. So, just until that finishes.
Fire alarm.
It's just brilliant. I kind of was upstairs and just had a look at the detail
Really?
on these things.
Yeah.
It's like, it's absolutely. But it's also the fact that there's a Millennium Falcon cockpit. Not actually, because it's always in the Falcon cockpit. I thought it'd be like a
Yeah.
scale, not to scale, but it's not.
Yeah.
Actual
Oh, it was,
proper, you know.
it was a really odd part actually walking up the ramp into the Falcon, full-size Falcon, and being a little kid, seeing that when I was 8 years old. Now you're actually on board the ship. It was a real goosebump moment.
Yeah, it's
So
just
it was
mad.
amazing.
So, if you could explain a little bit about Prop Shop and how long you've been here and exactly what your role in this process is, that'd be helpful.
Yeah. At Prop Shop, I've been here from the beginning, and it's been 7 years since I joined. And our involvement in Star Wars itself was to take concepts, whether it be sketches or ideas that JJ had wanted to toy, and we would develop those. And so we would generate the 3D items that would then get printed in 3D, which was a first. That then gets put in front of JJ and the art director. They would look at it. A lot of times they'd actually get a Sharpie and you circle areas and make little notes sort of saying, we need something here, some detail here. This is not working. We would then bring it back to the office, make changes on it. That evening it would go out to 3D print again.